Thank you so much for joining me. Good morning. There's something that is happening now. It is the time to return students to university, to return students to school, and others are going back to universities. Others are reporting for the first time. Others are rejoining back. Today, I want to talk to parents, to the guardians, to people who are concerned, to those students. Previously, I did a video on how drugs are affecting university students, and the guys were asking me very many questions. What should we do? How can we help? Indeed, it's something that is shocking in Kenya that students are coming out of universities and they are not helping the society at all. Others are coming out as drug addicts. Others are coming as useless as than they went to the universities. But what should be done? I want to communicate to parents and the guardians today on what are you supposed to do. One, I want to ask you, parents, stop telling university students that they are adults now. When you say that mentality goes direct to that kid. Ukimwambia sahi ashakuwa mtu mzima, ashaanza kufanya vitu zake, but mwambie ya kwamba you are still under him or her. Mwambie ya kwamba hakikisha kwamba anajua kwamba he or she is still under you. Na wewe usimwachilie. Najua wazazi wengi wanaambia wanafunzi ya kwamba now umekuwa mtu mzima, your choices are your consequences. Let me tell you, university education now is very different with your age. Where I remember my brother who used to pay school fees for us while in university. Can you do it now? Things have changed very much. Things have changed. So it's very different from when you were in university and now. Yes. So one, stop telling that kid that you are now mature. Okay, you are now mature. You can do your own things. Even if he's mature, of course he's mature. Tell him or let him understand that he is still under you. Yes. And parent, usiachilio kijana. Make sure you are concerned about her education or his education so that you can help him or her. So parents, what are you supposed to do to help this kid? One thing that is, ensure that you're giving this kid emotional support. Emotional support. Always support that kid emotionally. Sometimes in universities, stress comes in. Yes, students start being stressed. For what they expected in universities is different on what you're getting. But when you give that kid emotional support, when he's stressed, he or she is going to adjust. Be there for that kid. Be there for that student, I'm saying. Yes. Be aware. Call him or her all the time. What is happening? Are you okay? Yeah. Emotional support is always very okay. Encourage that kid. Some say when you join universities, most of the time the sayings that are there are no work. There's no job in Kenya. Even if you educate, you get education, you get your degree, there's no work, and that student will start being stressed. But be able to encourage him or her all the time. Encourage him or her. Don't leave that kid, that student, without encouragement. The same way you are doing when he or she was in primary school. That is the same thing you did in high school. That's why you made it. Don't leave it there. Support that kid even in universities. Number two thing that you're supposed to do is be able to guide in decision making. In any decision that student is making, be able to be guiding, be a guidance. When students join university, sometimes they have a challenge of choosing what to do. I've said early that when you go to university, there's a saying that is always there, that there's no jobs in Kenya. So therefore, be able to do a course that give you a job. To some extent, is that some truth there, that do a course that give you a job in Kenya. But when that student is making a decision, be able to be there, guide him or her on which course he or she is supposed to take, which course he or she is supposed to take. Wacha kijana chukue course yenye hata wewe hujajua. Yeah, haujui. Make sure unajua because gani kijana amechukua. Yeah. We have had some stories that unapata kijana ametoka university na kwambia hii ndio course yenye wewe ulikuwa unataka. Anakuachia hapo. then kijana anakuwa too ovyo, ama ame waste all the 4 years. Yeah, kama unataka mtoto afanye kozi fulani, be able to explain to him or her, understand, na wao msikize, listen to him or her, listen to them. Another thing that you're supposed to do as a parent or as a guardian to as university student is financial planning. Let that kid be aware of financial planning. Finances zinakuanga stress sana kwa vijana. Sometimes when you do this financial planning with that kid, you'll be able to know that maybe you are giving a little money to that kid or a lot of money. Let's come up with a budget, for example, per week. What amount of money this kid is supposed to use? That's when we use. That will enable him even in later life how to be responsible, how to budget for money, how to use that money. Yeah, are you seeing? So assist with creating a budget, managing expenses. Yeah. And understanding financial responsibilities. Let that kid be know that what is a want, yeah, what's a need, what comes first, what comes later, so that he can be able to have that skill of planning finance. Remember, this is the first time that kid is going to manage himself. Though in high school, you used to manage around 1,000 that you used to give him the whole term. But in the universities or in colleges, you find that you are the one to be responsible on how you eat and how you sleep and how you pay rent and how you take care of yourself. So if you come up with a plan for that kid, you sit down and say, I will be giving 1,000 per month, 1,000 per week, or 5,000 in a month. That's how I expect you to plan your money. That kid will get that skill. Even if he doesn't implement it fully, he will be able to use it later in life, or at least he tries around 70% to use that he uses that budget. And let me tell you, your kid will not deviate from the norm. He'll be able to be a grown-up since you have shared those skills. Also, academic support that kid academically. Not only in high school that you support those kids, ninasema akishaenda university sasa yeye atajisort. No, you need to encourage academic success by discussing studying. Let me say this: you find that most of the time, when students go to universities, parents leave them and they say, now soma. Kama ulipita high school, university utasoma. Then student akifika university, unapata hii saying ya sema tukipata first class hakuna kazi, hata ukienda wapi, hata ukigraduate no job. So that kid unapata mwanafunzi unapata atii bidii kwenye masomo, ama atii bidii vile alikuwa anatia bidii high school. Let me tell you, kila mtu akona na nini yake na dream yake. Encourage that kid to be successful academically. Tell him or her that even if they say that there are no jobs in Kenya, you can create your own job through studying hard the way you did in high school. Let me tell you, if university students works hard, the same thing they did in high school, they'll be getting first classes. When you get a first class, you get a scholarship. When you get a scholarship, you are opening more opportunity to yourself. You can get a scholarship and do your masters, go on your PhD. And you have some guys who have done PhD and they're doing very well in this country. So don't say there's no jobs, okay? So as a parent, as a guardian, make sure you encourage that kid to excel academically. Yeah, excel in academically so that you can open more opportunities. We have very many students who fail in universities, who are doing supplementaries, and they pass very well in universities. What lacks there is modeling or role modeling, especially from the parent. The parent is not concerned about the studies of this kid. When you're not concerned about the studies of your student, definitely he will deviate from the norm and he will fail, or he or she will fail. And when he fails, things start being very hard for him later in life. Remember, the outside the university is very competitive. Those who are very those who excel are those who are very competitive. So if he or she doesn't excel in studies or in university education, the likelihood of him failing in life is very high. So encourage him to pass exams. Academic support. Another thing is enable that kid to be networking, yeah, network and help the student establish connections in the field of interest through your own network. A kid has chosen to do law, for example, law. Enable him to be connected to lawyers. Yeah, enable him to be connected to lawyers. How do you do that? I know you have friends who are lawyers. That friend of yours in the university is a lawyer. This is the time to use him or her. Be able to tell him or her that my kid nowadays is doing law. That's the connection. So that when, for example, he's out for a whole day, he can connect, he can meet that lawyer and he learns more. He creates interest, yeah, from that one. If he's a doctor, connect that kid with doctors. Of course, that kid can create his own connection. But if you do it for you, if you have your ability to connect him or her, you have helped him or her. Yeah, create connection. Don't leave that kid alone. Yeah, those friends of yours, connect them to him, to her, to them. Connect them, so that when he or she finishes university, he's networked, he's mentored. This networking also enables a kid to be mentored. Mentorship is mentored by the seniors, those guys who have done it. If they were lawyers, they have been law, they have done it. So you have connected them. Are you getting it? So it's not enough to leave that kid at home. Sasa huyu ashamaliza university, wacha afanye vitu zake. That's not enough. It's not enough. You have the role to play still in university. Yeah, connect them. Another thing is that educate that kid to be independent. Independence building. Yeah, when the kid, the student now will be able to develop being independent and being irresponsible. Remember, in the university, most of the time you are alone. You are alone. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be able to chooses, etc. Encourage your student to take responsibilities, make decisions, and solve problems independently. Yeah, he should be able to take responsibility of himself, solve issues alone. Encourage him to be able to solve problems, not always to be crying. Some people like crying or what. Let him be independent in decision making. Let him or her have the ability to make decisions alone and moving forward. Educate that kid about safety and security. That is very important. Tell him that you need to be safe when you are in university. You have seen university students dying because they are working at night. Tell him or her that his security is he or her security, their security is very, very important. Their security is very important. Yeah, so that they cannot be clubbing all night. Tell them if you are clubbing the whole night, you are not. I'm saying that you are risking your life. That is risky, very risky. When you club the whole night, that's very risky. And coming home in your house, where are you staying? What something happens to you? Let her safety let their safety come first. Let their security come first. Let them be aware that they need to be in a secure place at a certain time, so that you could have done your work as a guardian. The last thing that I want to tell you, that guardians, be able to listen to your kid all the time. Listen to that kid of yours. Listen to him or her, what he says, so that you can understand each other. Don't dismiss him or her all the time. Najua kuna parents wengine wakali, they dismiss what the kid is saying, but you need to listen to that kid. Sometimes you may not agree what he's saying, but you need to listen to him or her. Why? So that when you're making a decision, you advise. When you advise, you are okay. When you are advised, it's them to decide to follow your advice or not. But you've done your part. So always communicate. Another thing is communication. Parents, make sure you are communicating to your kid. Call that kid of yours. Wacha isichukue the whole session at when mwanaume hawezi pigia msichana wako simu. Be in contact. communicate, sema bibi atakuwa amempigia, mama yake watakuwa ameongea na mama yake. No, be concerned. Unaendelea aje? Umeamka aje? Uko wapi? Uko wapi saa hii? Ni juu mahali huko, unaendelea aje? Ni nini ambao umekosa? Nini? Be in communication so that you can have closeness with your kid. Mwezi mzima hujaipigia mtoto wako simu na kwa university ati sina kitu ya kumwambia. Surely are you a parent or are you serious? Ama umwachilie ukasema wacha enda ng'ang'ane na hali zake? Surely are you helping that kid? Yeah, communicate, constant communication all the time. Another thing is that educate that kid about drug abuse. Mi nimezungumzia hii story sana ya drug abuse. Educate him or her. Don't fear. Give him or her education. What are the effects of these drugs? Yeah. What are the effects? What will it affect you? All the time. Na usiseme tu mara moja uache. This thing you should be doing it all the time. Akitoka kwa mfano, you do your prayers, tell him all that these are the effects of drugs. So do education to the kid about drug abuse. Let them be aware. Yeah. Another thing that you're supposed to tell your university students about relationships. A relationship. You have to educate your kid about a relationship. Hii topic wazio ni ngumu sana wazazi kuzungumzia, but call your kid, muite kwa meza, mwambie, talk to him about a relationship. Yeah, universities they have a lot of stories about the relationships. Watu wanaachana, wana nini, they forget their dreams, they start crying the whole term, the whole semester. Let me tell you, you need to identify your goals and dreams and what you're supposed to do first. Yeah, what comes first? How do you call it? You say priorities. You know, to know priorities. When you're university, what are you supposed to do? Yeah. So it's a choice. Sometimes people make choices in universities that maybe they get their partners in universities. Yes, they get married in universities. That's very okay. But as your kid is supposed to be aware on priorities. What comes first? You know, relationships are very, very, very expensive. They are to invest. They are very emotional to invest in. Is the right time? Yeah. Wacha kueleze kabisa kutoka mwanzo, akuwe very open, ajue na wewe mwelekeze, mwambie hii ndio umechagua. This is the repercussions. Are you going to concentrate very well in your education, or you're going to invest a lot of your time in relationships? Yeah. So let him be aware. Let him or her be aware that your choice of a relationship. I know you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, but it has repercussions. From that, he or she make a decision. Usiachilie tu hata akiwa na boyfriend haina shida. No, takuja kuletea shida. Remember, utakuja mpata mtoto mapema na education imekuwa affected, which is not good. So you always need to talk about the relationships in universities openly as a guardian. And I think as a guardian that you are supposed to do is make impromptu visits. Visit your kid impromptu. Mwambie, mimi niko hiyo hapo, nzoko wapi leo, nataka kununulia lunch. Inakuwa wewe jua mtoto wako anaishi wapi. Yeah. Jua mtoto wako anaishi wapi, alienda university, anaishi wapi, analanga wapi. Sisema atakuwa unatembea huko all the time. No. At least tembea once. Jua mtoto wangu anaishi hapa, ama akihama kueleza kwa nini alihama, alihamia wapi. As a parent you should be concerned, anaishi wapi, anaishi na kina nani, anaishi na nani, who doesn't stay with. Yeah. Anakaa na nani, anaishi na nani. That is very important. That's what you look at. The truth. Ukiachilia kuleta thank you for visits. No weather. It brought you this year. Hakuna lunch. Oh, coffee na kula sana. Be concerned. Thank you for
like